Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I have 10 trope recommendations for you. So 10 popular tropes. I have 10 books that will fit those tropes. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first trope recommendation that I have for you is Touch Her and You Die, and for this I would recommend Savage. This is a motorcycle bully romance. They're in high school or college, and the heroine's dad is the leader of a motorcycle gang, and he enlists multiple members of his gang to protect the heroine. This starts out as a bully romance and it becomes a why choose romance. This is part of a series and they are attempting to protect her from some rival gang activity. It quickly devolves into them protecting her and giving off the Touch Her and You Die. There are 3 different love interests and it's just a delightful bully, but only I can bully her, only we can bully her time that I think if you like any of those elements you'll really enjoy for this trope. So then I have a good old bully romance, and I haven't talked about this one in a while, so I have The Golden Boys. This is a delightful take on a bully romance. The reason I say take is because it's very different than your stereotypical high school bully romance. So this is about a guy who, in the beginning of the story, he finds a picture of a naked girl on his dad's phone. When she shows up at his high school, he enlists the help of his brothers to bully her. The reason that I say this is very different is because they're not mean guys. They're not like the kings of the school in a bad way. They are very sweet, and there are many instances of the hero being sweet to the heroine's brother and people in the community and just generally being like a good guy. It's just with her that he's kind of a dick. So for a good enemies to lovers trope, we have Mechanics of Love. This is a sapphic romance between two women who were enemies in high school. One of the heroines has come back. She is coming back to her hometown to stay with her parents after a messy separation from her husband, and she breaks down on the side of the road, and none other than her high school enemy comes to tow her car back to her garage, and they don't really get along. One of the heroines, the one that owns the mechanic shop, is more masculine presenting, and she has a big issue with the other heroine because the other heroine seems to be very stuck up, very all about the money and appearances, and they have some delightful banter, some lovely moments of antagonism until can't stop fighting their feelings for each other. Next up we have Friends to Lovers, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention the Grip trilogy as a Friends to Lovers. Now, Kennedy Ryan is kind of known in these series for writing long spanning love stories, and this one in particular is about Grip and Bristol, and Grip is a rapper and Bristol is his manager. However, they've known each other for a very long time. They have a friends relationship. Grip is very much like into Bristol. He makes it very known, and they have several encounters where he's pushing for a relationship and has some commitment issues, but they are in the same friend group, all of that, and they spend a lot of time together, and it's just a beautiful series, a romance like no other, and of any on this list, I would definitely recommend you pick this one up. So then we have the grumpy sunshine trope, and for this I would recommend Parker. This is an romance about a man who gets out of an abusive relationship, and the night he runs away from his ex-partner, he runs into a woman in the grocery store who confronts him about stealing from the convenience store, and she takes him home and offers him a place to stay, and it is his romance with her son. And Parker is definitely a grump. He is used to being the protector, hiding his emotions, taking care of everybody around him, and when this man comes into his life, he's never been with a man before, but he is intensely attracted to him, intensely devoted to protecting him, and he's very grumpy about it the whole time. The other hero is just determined to get back on track, and despite the traumas that he's endured, he wants to see the best out of life. We then have an alpha Melo, so a hero that is a very alpha personality, but he completely melts for the heroine, and I would have to say Rush from Rush. So this is a daddy dom little girl story. I have talked about it many times here on my channel, but this is about Rush and Dree. I remember their names. Notice how I don't remember the names of anybody else. Dree is a choreographer, and after she choreographs a music video for one of Rush's rival rock group's music video, he employs the help of her, and they enter into a DDLG relationship where they are very much exploring their sexuality with each other, and a dom sub relationship, a daddy little girl relationship. And Rush is just so sweet, and he is stern when he needs to be, but he is such a good daddy for Dree, and he really knows how to take care of her, and I would say he is a very soft and sweet little alpha Melo. We then have a cinnamon roll hero, so a hero that is just so sweet and delightful to be around, and I would recommend A Walk in the Park. This is an Audible original, I believe, but this is about two people who end up going to a adoption center to adopt a dog, and some things get messed up, and they end up adopting the same dog, and so they decide to just take care of the dog together, to co-parent the dog, and it is about their several afternoons figuring out how that's going to look. And the hero is just so sweet and so caring and so giving, and he's so willing to accommodate the heroine however and whatever she needs. We then have a Second Chance, which I would recommend Count Your Lucky Stars. This is a sapphic romance between two women who had a brief fling in college, and now one of the heroines is looking for a roommate, or rather a place to live, and the other heroine has a room available, so they end up having to room together. They need to work through some of their miscommunication issues, and this was thoroughly enjoyable despite it being a lot of their sexual encounters and not a lot of relationship growth. I enjoyed this Second Chance romance. We then have a virgin hero, and for that one I have to give it to the Duke Who Didn't. This is a historical romance about a woman who is putting on a festival in her town, and a guy that shows up year after year but hasn't shown up in the last couple of years shows up to help her and enlist the help of her to find a bride, and all along he has the intention of wooing her, and he is a virgin. This is very sweet. There is a little bit of hidden identity, but overall it is a couple working through their commitment issues and the things that separated them to begin with, and it's very sweet. The hero is so adorable. And the last trope recommendation that I have for you is kind of a subversion of the typical trope, and that is an obsessive heroine. So usually people rave about the obsessive hero, but for this I have the obsessive heroine, and my recommendation for this is Don't Tell Me No. This is a sapphic novella. It's about a woman who is sold to her husband's boss because her husband embezzled $2 million from the company that he worked for, and the boss says, I will forgive your debts if you sell your wife to me for 6 months. And of course, being the sniveling little rat that he is, he does it, and so she spends 6 months with her, and along the way you find out that the boss might not be as just randomly forgiving, or had this random idea. It might have been planned all along, and she might have been watching her for a very long time. It is delightful, it is spicy, there is some voyeurism, there is some dom sub play, it's fantastic. So those are all the trope recommendations that I have for you. Let me know down in the comments your favorites for some of these tropes. I would love to hear it. Other than that, if you don't have anything to say, leave a heart of any color down in the comments, and I will catch you guys in my next one. Thanks so much for watching.